So where does Alabama football stand in the grand scheme of college football right now?
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Luke Robinson. That's Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. This is Locked On Bama, brought to you by today, Odoo. Can't wait to talk about Odoo. New sponsor. Hey, welcome in, Odoo. So, Jimmy, I thought it'd be a good idea. We did our anniversary shows yesterday. You should go check them out. They're a lot of fun. I mean, it'll take you down memory lane. So, top 10 players, top 10 moments of the last 10 years. I had a lot of people chime in like, where's David Palmer? Where's Derek Thomas? Well, I mean,
it's the last 10 years.
So, I mean, David Palmer and Derek Thomas make my all-time top two. I mean, I love them. So, but I'm saying for the last 10 years. Now, we're also going to do a postmortem on baseball, and we're also going to talk a little bit of basketball because there was a little bit of news. So we'll talk about that, but we're going to do your roster countdown also. But I just thought, hey, why not? Let's take inventory of where Bama is right now, because I was listening to a different podcast, an Auburn-based podcast earlier, and it just feels like everybody's discounting Alabama right now. I kind of get it because, even on ESPN's updated top 25 for next year, which is ridiculously early, but we love all that stuff. It has, it says, well, Bama's 20 and what are they? Something in 8, 20, no, not 20 and 8. I can't remember. It's something in 8, whatever it is. 8 losses over the last 2 years. They're like, that's more than Bama's used to, and that's not going to get it. It's right. It's right. It's not going to get it. Okay. But I don't think things are where they were under the height of Saban, but it's not nearly as bad as people are making out to be. And because Alabama was so far above everybody, I think the slightest downturn is considered to be a precipitous drop. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's fair either.
2 points I would like to make. First of all, anybody that refers to last season as a 4-loss season is just looking for a reason to hate on Alabama for no reason at all. It was a 4-loss season because Alabama qualified by winning a lot, by winning big. They qualified to get to a postseason where 2 of those losses happened. Are these people thinking it would have been a better season for Alabama to just sit at 10-2, turn down Atlanta, turn down the playoff, and go play in the Birmingham Bowl and win it? I mean, is that a better season? No. I mean, Alabama ended up losing 4 games last year. 2 of them were in the postseason. I guess they count, but for people to use it as a way to describe Alabama's season as a 4-loss season is disingenuous at best. There's no real thought into it. I wonder however many other teams would have added 2 losses had they played in Atlanta against Georgia and against Indiana in the playoff. I mean, everyone else would have had 2 losses also added on. So, and secondly, this is how I would rank programs right now. I have to look at the playoff. Who's making the playoff? Only 4 teams have made the playoff both years. 4. Only 4. Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and Georgia. Those are the only 4. I think if you're ranking programs right now, like where's Alabama sit, you got to start with those 4. They're the only ones that have made the playoff both years. This is a new world. I don't think you can go back and say, well, Alabama's winning in 2018, 2019. The rules changed. The rules turn the sport upside down. You have to look at who's doing well under the new rules. To me, it would start with those 4. And you could make a case that Alabama's 5, and I know people, I probably just call some of y'all to swerve off the road, but here's the case that Alabama's 5. Alabama only missed the playoff spot by 1 spot in year 1, by 1 spot. So if you just said, okay, well, don't look at the playoff, look at the playoff plus whoever missed it by 1 spot, then Alabama is the only team you would add to those 4 who've made it both. So you could argue Alabama's 5th. I don't, though, because I still think that today's college football, I would rank Texas and maybe Notre Dame ahead of where Alabama is right now myself. But I do believe that if we're going on nothing more than the last 2 seasons under these new rules and the hire of Kalen DeBoer, I think the results suggest Alabama is still a top 10 program, a lot closer to 10-1, but still a top 10 program.
And see, I could argue both ways. I'd 100% a top 10 program, even though ESPN has us at, I think, 16 in their
ranking of this upcoming season.
Yeah, and I'm like,
well, I'm taking into account the last 2 seasons.
Well, I mean, I'm too.
Plus this upcoming year, where I would rank Alabama. I've already done this before one other time, but I think I'll do it again. I think in my preseason top 25, I had Alabama at 12.
See, I may even go higher. And again, I think I can go either way with this. Let me tell you. So I think this whole argument has "but what abouts ... all over it. Okay. Yeah. So if you want to be, hey, Alabama's on the downturn, that's true. But what about the fact that what Jimmy just said, we made the playoffs last year, we lost to the eventual champion, I mean, who was running roughshod over most everybody. I mean, I know Miami gave them fits, but that was a very unique scenario where the championship game was in Miami. It's an Indiana team that probably doesn't have the depth necessarily. They had the front, the top 22, they had them. They proved it to us. But, maybe if Alabama had been able to play them a little later, maybe it's a little different. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying. But okay, so what about the fact that what Jimmy said? And then you could say, but what about ... the fact that Alabama has been blown out a few times these last couple of years, and that never happened before. True. But what about the fact that Alabama has also gone into Athens and beaten Georgia, the only team that's done that in God knows how many years?
Yeah.
What about the fact that they've beaten Georgia at home as well? That's not nothing. I mean, there have been a lot of positives. Then you can say, but what about FSU? And then, but what about recruiting right now? It's not looking great. I mean, that's what one podcast was talking about today. Hey, say what you want to, Alabama's recruiting is stinky. I mean, yes, but what about the fact we have the number 1 quarterback in the country? What about the fact we're probably about to get a wide receiver who's borderline 5-star, may ultimately be a 5-star, and may get another 5-star? And we're focusing on roster retention where we had 2 top 5 classes the previous 2 years. So, I mean, it's like everything coming together. I don't think the signs are pointing everywhere. This could go in any direction. And that's why I think this year is so pivotal. I think Chris Gordy and I were talking yesterday from Locked On SEC, and he was like, he said, I have some Alabama friends that look at this year like this is a foundation year. We may not make the playoffs this year. I could take 8-4. And I'm like, no. Those friends are crazy. Number one, those friends, the only Alabama fans I know who would accept that record.
I haven't heard that from any. I mean, I spend my entire day talking to Alabama fans, either, through this show or our Discord page or the BOL board, I spend all my day talking to Alabama fans. I haven't heard anyone punt on this season or say 8-4 this year will be fine. I think a lot of people, including myself, point to 2027 as a year that Alabama might be really, really good. And I agree totally, but that's irrelevant to how good they might be in 2026. I'd say in 2026, who knows? Maybe they play for a national championship. I'm just saying in 2027, they're going to be better. It doesn't mean that 2026 they're going to be average or bad. And I don't think that at all.
And I hate to do another, but what about? And again, that's why Alabama might be the most intriguing team in the country, because you say, okay, I'm looking to 2027 when we're going to be stacked to the gills. But what about the fact that in 2027, we go to Ohio State, we go to Ole Miss, we go to Oklahoma, we go to Auburn, we got Texas at home, we got Tennessee at home, we got a Missouri team that is like winning at a pace they normally don't win at home.
That's a great point.
Oh my, the schedule's much harder next year. So while we're better, the schedule in a ratio sense moves up with it. So I mean, Alabama might be the most intriguing team in the country and the most difficult to actually rank one way or the other. Because while you also say, but what about the fact Alabama's quarterback situation is unsettled? I go, but what about the fact they got the number one player in the country from a couple years ago who looks dynamite and had a great A-Day? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's really difficult. So when I see Alabama at 16 on ESPN's top 25, my initial reaction is that's too low. And then when I read their rationale, I go, I get it. I understand it, but I still think it's low. I mean, me personally.
Yeah, I think Alabama is being underregarded and underrated, and I think there's been an overreaction to getting whacked by Indiana. While it was bad, and it did look bad, and it showed that Alabama was nowhere near as good as the number one team was last year, it's too small of a sample size to make this giant conclusion that loss is evidence that Alabama is about to go further downhill. Further downhill from what? We were in the quarterfinals last year. I mean, you might say, where is Alabama in the college football world right now? Well, last I checked, they're in the top 8. Because they were in the quarterfinals. They won their way. They won their way into the playoff, and then they won when they got there. So that's another way to answer the question. Where is Alabama? Well, last I saw, they were in the top 8. Why do people think there's going to be a backslide? I know a lot of people are going to say, well, quarterback, you lost Ty Simpson. 1 year ago, y'all weren't saying Ty Simpson was a reason the Alabama team was going to be good. You were saying he was a reason that people were doubting Alabama. I would tell you right now, there's more evidence today that Keelan Russell's going to be really good than there was a year ago about Ty Simpson.
100%. 100%. So in the end, I started off with, I don't really know what to do with Bama, and I end with, I don't know what to do with Bama. So, I mean, well, but I just think it's
in my preseason ranking, but that's not a ranking of the programs. To me, that's just ranking teams for this fall. I think to rank programs, you got to look at a 2, 3, 4 year period and kind of look ahead, but also look back.
Hey, new sponsor alert, Jimmy. So a new chance for you to guarantee a new sponsor.
What am I about to guarantee?
Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and somehow none of them talk to each other. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about having everyone working towards the same goal. I promise you that's how we are over here. So it's very important. Odoo is just a big deal. You want to go check it out. Great organizations win because operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. You've heard of Odoo. You've seen them advertised. They're a big deal. Try for free today at Odoo. That's ODOO.com/lockedon. That's ODOO.com/lockedon. And of course, Jimmy Stein guarantees it. One of the things that made me think about the topic for the first segment was yesterday I cut a crossover episode with Zach Blackerby of Locked On Auburn. A lot of Alabama fans know him. He does a great job. He actually runs the whole college network. And he and I are buddies, and we did a crossover, just sort of the state of the Iron Bowl and where things are. And I think it was brought about, the impetus for it was that I think a lot of Auburn people are saying, yeah, we got Alabama in our sights. I think that's what it was about. And so I knew that going in, but that's what he was talking about was, hey, tell me where you think Alabama is. And I think he wanted me to say, be Chicken Little about it. I wasn't. But the other thing that we did, I did one of the live reads and I ended with, that's a Jimmy Stein guarantee. And afterwards he looked at me like this and I said, yeah, Jimmy Stein guarantees all of them. I said, I probably wish he didn't, but he does. And so he did the second live read and he said Jimmy Stein guarantees. So
all righty. So hopefully over there on the Auburn site, they're on the Auburn show, they're bringing me up, which is never good on the Auburn show, frankly.
So Jimmy roster countdown, where are we at?
Well, today is 49 days out. We did the anniversary shows yesterday, so we're going to do 50 and 49. But 49 means, boy, we are just 7 weeks from today. That's when practice starts. 7 weeks from today, it's getting here, folks. Two interesting linemen that you're going to see this fall for sure, and that's how deep the team is. Because guys, at 49 and 50, here's two guys you're going to see: Nick Brooks. I'm putting him at 49, and Asaya Faga. I'm putting him at 50. And look, Faga is going to be in the rotation. He's one of the leaders in the defensive line room. He had a really good spring. He's really stepped forward in terms of taking some level of command. Again, this is an outspoken captain type guy. He's going to be part of a very deep rotation on the defensive line. This fall, you will see Asaya Faga. You saw him last year. Last year, he played with the ones at times. He will have an even bigger role with the ones this season. I think he's at his best as an interior pass rusher. So you might see him on some third downs. Nick Brooks is an even more interesting player. Right now, he is a second team right tackle at Alabama. He's number 2 behind Javen James at right tackle. Real interesting guy. I have him here high up, even though he's a second team offensive lineman, because he's a candidate to be the 6th offensive lineman. I don't know that he'll win that job right now. I'm going to say that maybe Ethan Fields is going to be the 6th lineman, but it might be Nick Brooks. And, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think it's a pretty good thing. One thing I want to rant here, I'm ranting mostly about Texas fans. The reaction to Nick Brooks performing poorly as a true freshman last year on those Texas boards is outrageous. And I'll say it because I've seen the same thing, at Alabama. Yet we have to distinguish between a true freshman that's playing because the guys ahead of him are hurt versus a true freshman who has won the job because he's the best player on the team at his position. Why on earth are you evaluating both players the same? A true freshman that is only playing because guys ahead of him are hurt is trying to keep his head above water while some are criticizing him for failure to swim fast. These guys are drowning when they're playing before they're ready. That's all that happened with Nick Brooks last year at Texas. He played before he was ready. Why? Because guys ahead of him got hurt. Pretty impressive that at a place like Texas, he was kind of a next man up to even be in that position to play. Then further, he played tackle when he got to Texas. They moved him to guard in the fall because people got hurt. Now at Alabama, he's also seen some time already on the practice field at guard and tackle. So he's got some real positional versatility. That's going to help him get on the field. This was a national top 100 recruit from Atlanta. So this was a pretty big deal when Texas landed him. All that happened negatively at Texas is he played before he was ready, and he wasn't ready as a true freshman to play on the line of scrimmage in the SEC. Neither are 90% of the linemen, if not 95% of the linemen that will sign with Power 4 schools. They're not ready to play as true freshmen in this league either. I'm high on Nick Brooks. I do think it's going to take another year or so of development. I don't think he's ready to be a starter at Alabama, but he's a solid 2. And you have to like the fact now he's got some experience. He's played in SEC football games.
A really gigantic kid, which is positive. Again, like you said, he's from Loganville, Georgia. Maybe getting a little closer to home is going to help. Maybe the fact that people have talked a lot of trash about him can motivate him. You would like to think that. If that stuff doesn't happen, well, then those people will be proven right. So I think that if he has a lot of competitiveness about him, that some of the things that have been said lately will motivate him to be even better. And like I said, it's not nothing that he's a little closer to home. That can help. Mm-hmm. So I'm a Nick Brooks fan. I'm with you. I mean, you and I have heard from the Locked On people even, hey man, good luck with that kid. Yeah. I just feel like that's a little early, just like you said. I think you put it best where it's like you put a kid in that doesn't know how to swim and say, go win the Olympics.
Yeah. And do you remember, I'm sure you do, I think it's 2019, we lost both starting inside linebackers. I think we even lost 3 inside linebackers in fall camp, and we had to start the year with 2 true freshman inside linebackers, and they struggled. Of course they struggled. Of course they did. And gosh, some of our fans just killed those guys And they were only playing because the older kids in front of them were hurt. One of those guys ended up being, by the way, Christian Harris. Guess what? He's pretty good. You give him a hot minute, he's going to develop and be a good player. He's still playing in the NFL, plays for the Falcons this upcoming year. So I think we can just get too negative on true freshmen, especially those who are forced into playing time. Now, if a true freshman has won the spot because he's the best player in the room at that position, then I think fine, compare him to the other starters and whether he's good or not. But a kid forced onto the field due to injury should be evaluated by everyone, including the fans, differently.
Yeah, 100%. And it's one of those things where everybody expects that, it's always funny. Like if you're portaling out, people think, he's not that good anyway. If you're portaling in, he's going to be awesome. And the truth's always in the middle, isn't it, Jimmy?
Usually. Devin Tompkins portaled out of USC. He's going to be good.
Locked On celebrating 10 years, man. It's so cool. We want you to go check out.
I did it again.
You did it again. How'd you do it again? Because I just did it. Anyway, lockedonbama.supercast.com, lockedonbama.supercast.com. That's where you want to go to check out our Discord page. That's the main selling point. It's the Everydayer Club, and a lot of fun stuff on there. So also you get an ad-free podcast, but I mean, to me, that's secondary. The Discord page that we have is the best Discord page going. I would put our Discord page up against anybody. So $5 a month, $50 for the year. Come on, just give it a whirl. It's a great thing. It's not like, look, I promise you that money isn't going to Jimmy and me. But we want to make it better, and a lot of like-minded people. So come check it out. Okay. So, I don't want y'all to think that Luke and Jimmy are just over here begging for. That's not what it is. But we'd love to have you.
Don't put it past us.
That is so true. When I said that, I was like, "Oh, I'd beg for money." Anyway, so got your roster countdown done. Yep. Let's talk a little bit about other stuff. First of all, post-mortem on baseball. I'll let you do that. Look, to me, the baseball thing is a lot like the football thing we started out with. I saw a lot of, especially Auburn fans on Twitter. "Oh, Alabama got boat raced out in Omaha." Yeah, but we were in Omaha. I mean, get me to Omaha, because what they're going to say, what happens, right? Nobody. I don't even remember what we did. Was it 1999 or whenever the last time we were there? I don't remember what we did then. We might have lost 10-0 both times, as far as I know. But we were in Omaha. I'm fine with it. So, I mean, Auburn was there in 2022 or something like that. And, I don't think they did. I don't think they hit a lick at a snake. Nobody cares. They went to Omaha. Omaha is what matters. Now, to win the championship is a whole nother ballgame, certainly. But Omaha is what matters. Troy's going to put this this is Troy's coup de grace. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened to them. And because it's Omaha. And so, I'm pro where this baseball team is. Yeah, okay. We got boat raced. We got smoked because we knew we had some smoke and mirrors going on. But we got Omaha.
Oh, and those ripping on Alabama for their performances and somehow denigrating it. It sounds like here's the worst take for fans to have in sports. The worst take. I would rather win in the NIT than lose in the NCAA tournament. That's a terrible take. It's a terrible take. No coach, no athletic administrator, no one in the sport feels that way.
And nobody who says it actually believes it.
I would hope not. That's coping. No, Alabama making it to Omaha is a tremendous accomplishment. Getting there was unbelievable. The performances there were not good. They're bad. And indicative of what I think the next step for Alabama is. Alabama is an ascending program. The next step for Alabama, get more talented, be a better team, be a more talented team. What happened against Texas and Oklahoma? We got seriously out-talented in those two games. Not to say that Alabama can beat those teams, because we saw Alabama beat those teams during the season. They performed poorly on the big stage. However, they're not as good as Oklahoma. They're not as good as Texas. And by that, I mean, I'm talking about pure talent. So recruit better, portal better, And here's my understanding is that's exactly what's going on. I mean, I think next year it's going to be an all new team, largely because so many of these guys are seniors or juniors, like LeBron headed to the major league draft. So it's going to have a largely new team. They may be more talented. From what I understand. So this is still an ascending program under Rob Vaughn. And as far as I'm concerned, I watch us get blown out in those 2 games. I hope Rob Vaughn gets a contract extension and a significant raise. He's one of the better coaches in the SEC, and he should be paid like it.
100%. Super proud of the team. They're going to be just fine. Y'all just hang in there. Basketball wise, I just thought it was interesting that ESPN, first of all the players got their numbers. None of them really like jump out at me except Jackson Richardson's number 23. I always look at number 23 for Jordan. So, I mean, I'm like, okay.
Well, his dad wore 23 in the NBA too. So he's got his dad's NBA number. So that's cool.
That is cool. Then
also, I hear things. You want to know a couple things I hear?
I do.
Jackson Richardson is every bit as advertised. No surprise. Guys, they're excited about Clover and Drew Fielder both. Clover and Drew Fielder both have been eye-opening. That's what I'm hearing.
I've also heard Caden Samuels is a problem.
Yes. Described by one insider as somebody close to the program, future NBA player. Although that shouldn't be a shock. You might watch his high school tape. But yeah. So is it a surprise when Nate Oats' team ends up being even better than advertised? No, it's happened every year, and it's going to happen again.
He's an incredible evaluator, or at least he and his staff are.
I think it's maybe his best trait. No one ever talks about it, but I think it might be the best trait. I think he's an incredible evaluator of talent, and knowing he sees a high school player, and they know it will be a fit in his system.
Yeah,
he's great at that.
He is. He's super at it. And again, you can look at Alabama and think, well, they lost a lot. The schedule's difficult, blah, blah, blah. But it's the same thing every year. And I think they're going to be just as tough again. And ESPN came out with their bracketology, and they have Bama at 3, taking on Liberty at 14. I always think
so.
Liberty,
3 seed. You mean
a 3 seed? Yeah,
3 seed.
Taking on Liberty, a 14 seed. And I always think of Liberty because of Jeremy Monso, who played in the state of Alabama, and he set all the scoring records at a private school. And I always thought eventually, he may end up transferring somewhere much bigger. I think he did transfer to somewhere. I can't remember. It's not Troy, because I think that's where Wesley Person ended up. I think that's where
that's right.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they would have Alabama playing BYU in the second round, which of course we've already done, which of course we have a tie with BYU because it came down to BYU and Alabama for AJ DeBansta. So,
and DeBansta will be gone too. He'll be in the NBA. So I'd rather
pick if they're smart.
Yeah, I think it's going to be him or the kid from Kansas. I would take AJ number 1. I would. And I've seen them both, and I like them both. They're both going to be NBA stars. This is a great draft, by the way. This is a really good NBA draft, and it's next week. We got to start rooting for our guy, Phylon.
Well, and then it has 13 SEC teams in there.
13 in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, come on. I mean, how? And then first 4 out.
I'm not sure that's possible.
First 4 out is Mississippi State. So you essentially have 13 with 1 right on the bubble. I mean,
shows how
bananas.
It does show how tough the league is going to be. I'm not going to predict Alabama to win the SEC. Because Florida, but I do think Alabama is going to once again. I think a 3 seed sounds about right to me. I mean, I won't be surprised at all. I mean, I think that sounds about right. And if you're a 3 seed, you are going to be favored all the way to the Sweet 16.
All right, that's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.